How to heal your attachment and stop putting people on pedestals. Let's just save the pedestals for the statues. The first and foremost important thing to understand here, because this sets the foundation for everything else, is that nothing has any inherent meaning other than the meaning that we create for it. That's the reality of it. And we create a lot of meaning for a lot of things. So identify the meaning that you have created for the person and realize that what you're actually doing is projecting self onto other. So I'll make this more clear by saying that oftentimes the reason that we put somebody on a pedestal is because we think that they are going to fulfill our worth. That's the meaning. That's also projecting self onto other, because what it is that you're actually looking for is intrinsic self-worth. But you weren't taught that your worth is intrinsic. No, you were taught that your worth is somewhere out there in somebody out there, and therefore you've just created a bunch of probably unconscious and subconscious meaning for these people. And you've tied your self-worth to them. And the fascinating thing is that there is nothing of you in anybody else. Identity, worth, completion, any of that stuff. It's just not the reality. And also with that, it's very important to understand that when you do that, you are actually violating somebody else's boundaries. When you are seeking worth for yourself in somebody else, you're violating their boundary. It's nobody else's responsibility to give you worth. It's nobody else's responsibility to make you whole and complete. That is your responsibility. So now the second thing to focus on here, I realized I didn't make it clear at first. This video is a how-to for the first video that I made the other day. So the other day I made a video talking about why the emotionally immature, not judging anybody, but why these people put people on pedestals. This is the basically part 2, the how to. And when I say how to, I mean the how to heal the process of putting people on pedestals, which has a lot to do with attachment and all of the meaning, as I've been talking about. So approaching the meaning is very important because you're going to dive into it. You're going to dive into all of the meaning that you've created for the person. And when you dive into it, you're actually going to dissolve it. And you're going to take them off the pedestal, and you're going to realize that you are looking in other only for what it is that you can actually give yourself. So think about that. The meaning dissolves because you realize that you're looking for in other only that which you can give yourself. I will say that extrinsic self-worth is a thing. People tie their sense of self-worth to other people. I will only be worthy when I get that person. When I start a romantic relationship with that person, then I'll be worthy, then I'll be whole and complete and happy. People actually do this. It is exceedingly unstable. It is a fucking roller coaster that just keeps going back and forth. You're worthy, you're not worthy. You're worthy, you're not worthy. When I say that, I mean like you get it and then you feel worthy and then you lose it and you feel unworthy. So it's just a back and forth game of bullshit. Who the hell wants to play that, right? And so understanding that what it is that only you can give yourself is identity, is worth, is completion. You're looking for that in another person and you're creating this meaning for the other person that they are this just incredible person. It's mind-boggling because it's almost at level of like, well, I wouldn't say it's almost at level of like Messiah prophet type shit, but like it's too grandiose. It's too grandiose and is way built into the facet of emotional immaturity. It is black or white thinking. When you put somebody on a pedestal, you're saying this person is all good and they're only good and they're the answer to my life, they're the solution to my life. No, they're not. And quite honestly, when you do that, what you're actually doing is like creating distance between you and the person. I mean, like, let's look at this structure here. You're all the way down here, and this person is all the way up here. What the fuck? Yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyway, seeing people as people, nothing more, nothing less, is absolutely, absolutely important. It's fascinating too because I know that famous people exist. I know that people that have created really awesome things and are considered of high profile exist. Okay. But on that note, I was somewhere today and I believe that there was a person that was considered famous there. And I looked at this person and I was like, that person looks familiar. And then somebody else there asked the person for a picture. And then I was like, oh, I guess that person is famous. But then, like, after walking away from it for a while, I was actually in a different area and that person walked by me again. I don't know who this person was, though. But I walked by that person, or no, that person walked by me. And I started to think about it and I was like, but that person is just a human, just like everyone else. Like, we create this meaning of fame and high profile and pedestal and idolization, and it's a fucking catastrophe. It really is. I mean, we see it all the time where, like, we idolize people, we idolize celebrities, and then we find out that they've done this thing that we deem bad. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's just, I don't know, people are people. Some things are not healthy, I get it, but that's just the way that it is. When you put people on pedestals, you are creating, like I was saying before, you're creating this massive distance between the two of you. And so actually with that, it's very important to dive deeper into this. You are creating this energetic dynamic of, like, inequality. Like, this person is all the way up here and, like, you're you're like staring all the way up at them. That's going to keep them very far away from you. So also understand that if you put somebody on a pedestal, it's just going to keep them very far away from you. Putting people on pedestals creates this energetic dynamic where they are very, 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 very much separate and far away from you. And this goes for anything. It goes for people, it goes for a job, it goes for fucking money, it goes for a fucking object. It doesn't matter what it is. You are creating energetic distance between you and other. It doesn't matter what other is. Understanding that nobody but you is the answer to your life is honestly, like, one of the most important things about this. I understand that there are people out there that had really fucked up childhoods, and because of that, they learned that they're only worthy if, and that if is totally dependent on the external. They're only worthy if they get that relationship. They're only worthy if they do that thing. They're only worthy if they get that thing, and it is out there. And so they've learned to tie their identity and their worth and their sense of completion out there. It's fucked up. It really is. When you instead take your power back on yourself and you realize that there is actually no other fucking human out there that has the answer to your life, you are it. You determine yourself. You validate and approve of yourself. Take those people or that one person off the fucking pedestal. Bring them down here, equal to you, because we're all just fucking human, no more, no less. I understand that there are people out there that like to, like, idolize themselves and, like, suggest that they are somehow God. No. And then those are the people that end up being, like, idolized by people that are probably psychotic. But anyway, that's an entirely different story in and of itself. Just really understanding this whole dynamic is what's important. Nobody has any inherent meaning other than the meaning that we create and tie/attach to them. That's the reality of it. Dissolve the fucking meaning. Look at the meaning. Get conscious of the meaning. Become aware of the meaning. The meaning is the ticket out. Oh shit, my unconscious and subconscious mind created this fucked up and distorted meaning in regards to this person, but it's just meaning. It's not the reality of it, and it's not the way that it works. Take them off the fucking pedestal, dissolve the fucking meaning, realize that you are the answer to your life. You are the determiner of your life. You are the determiner of yourself, your identity, your sense of self-worth. You are it. Nobody else is it for you. Not one single person on the face of this planet. No matter what somebody has told you, let me actually make this very clear before I end off this video. It's not always about the meaning that you create for somebody. Sometimes it can be somebody else that comes into your life and like love bombs the fucking shit out of you. And maybe you had just a fucking awful upbringing and you felt like a worthless piece of shit your entire fucking life. And so this person comes along and they like gas you up with all this fucking crazy ass love bombing. And then you start to feel really good about yourself, but that's entirely dependent on them. Let them go. It's pretty much the same dynamic. That's somebody love bombing you so that you will see them idolized. It's still the same end product, but understanding that you need to identify the meaning, allow the meaning to dissolve, take the person off the pedestal, realize that they're just a fucking person. Your worth is your responsibility. Your sense of identity and completion is your responsibility, nobody else's. And like, get really comfortable with like whenever it happens, whenever it starts to happen, whenever you start to find yourself idolizing, whenever you start to find yourself putting somebody on a pedestal, stop yourself and just be like, oh, it's just a person. Ew. It's just a person. It's just a person. It's just a person. It's just a person. Just get really comfortable with like watering down the experience, diluting it. And that's the reality of it. I might be able to make another video on this, but I think that that's really just a majority of it. Oh, let me make this very clear before I end off this video. If you have black or white thinking, which is all or nothing, very extreme thinking, survival-based thinking, you tend to see people as either all good or all bad. Let me just make it very clear that this is one of the most important things to understand in terms of stopping putting people on pedestals. There's a massive gray area here that needs to be explored by people that see in only black or white. People are not good or bad. They're fucking people. They're flawed. Sometimes they're weird. Sometimes they suck. Sometimes they're cool. They're just people. See them for what they are. Otherwise, you'll be distracted by what your mind likes to do with all the meaning that it creates. That's all.